Hello, everybody, and welcome back to SNATM. That is SSN at the movies, where so far it's back to each and every week. Maybe not on a Sunday, it might be on a Monday. But we don't know. We don't know. You know, life finds a way to fuck us over. But we sit down and we review films that some of it you guys suggest, some of it it's because it just came out, like The Suicide Squad, and we will review anything that are good, that are bad, movies that are just postal.
I
And
fucking love that tagline.
well, I already forgot what was the original. Because before postal, it was something else. It was something some that are good. Yeah, I watch movies that are good, movies that are bad, some that are, and I can't remember what it was before postal now because postal has replaced.
Was it Annihilation?
No,
Mortal
no,
Kombat Annihilation?
no, that's the thing. I think it was a movie that we reviewed. I just cannot remember for the life of me what it was. Postal has just overcome and just like Thanos history wiped that part of whatever it was beforehand.
Which is fine. It deserves that fucking title.
Yeah, if anything. But
anyways,
yes, to talk about something that's not postal, we are here to talk about the 2021 release of The Suicide Squad, written and directed by the James Gunn. For those who don't know, you're fucking blind and deaf to the world. James Gunn is a director, writer, sometimes editor, if I'm not mistaken, who has done such films as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2. He has done Slither. He has done the movie, I think it was Super, right? With Rainn Wilson, if I'm not mistaken.
did he do Super?
Yeah. He that was his. Right. And one of my favorites, because it's so fucked up, Tromeo and Juliet. One of his first films that he did with Troma Entertainment. Which, oh my god,
I haven't seen that one.
Oh my god. Okay, so how can I say this? Because, like, for people who don't know, we're going to be going through a lot of stuff here. We're going to be doing the review of the film Suicide Squad, but we're doing it spoiler free because this literally just came out, and there are very important hitches, kind of like shock value moments in this film that happen. That if we were to just say it here, it's not going to ruin the film, but it's going to take away some of the magic. But Romeo and Juliet, it's basically it's the story of Romeo and Juliet. Pretty much, it's all it is, but with the Troma Entertainment twist to it. So there's lots of sex, there's lots of violence, and then I will spoil this for you at the end of this of that movie. Romeo and Juliet end up by being cousins, and they don't care that they're cousins, and still decide to have sex in front of like the Capitol building or something. Like actual public landmark areas are having sex there, and like it's fucked up because it's like the dude's pants are down, so it's bare ass people walking by, which clearly they didn't have the rights to film there, and they're just having sex in these areas, and it's like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck?
Okay, I gotta watch it now. I gotta watch it.
It's something. Like it's actually a good movie, but again, it's got that Troma Entertainment twist to it. But other than that, I mean, yeah, that's what he's done. Music by John Murphy, who has done movies such as Kick-Ass, 28 Weeks Later, in the Les Miserables TV series, apparently that's running right now. This film stars a lot of people, and I mean like a lot of fucking people. So you're gonna have to forgive me if I forget someone. Tom's here to help me out. And I don't know if I'm going to mention all, like, the 3 films that these people are best known for. I might just do one, or I might just skip them completely. But here we go. We have Idris Elba, who I don't know how you don't know this man. He was in Luther. He was in, obviously, the Thor franchise. He was in the Losers. That's another DC movie or a Marvel movie. I think it was DC. Yeah.
I forgot about that one. Wow.
Right? That was
Chris
one of
Evans was in that.
Yes,
for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, quite a few people. That film actually, was one of the first on-air movie reviews that I had ever done, and I had to edit it.
Oh.
And I hate watching myself doing that edit because we also shot it inside of the Cineplex or the Silver City in Sudbury. We got permission to actually shoot there.
Oh, I remember that. Yep.
It was it was rough. I hate looking at me in that one.
And Will, we don't talk about The Dark
Yeah,
Tower. That movie
yeah.
doesn't exist. It's the biggest piece of shit ever.
Stars Margot Robbie, which again, Margot Robbie is known primarily now for her portrayal of Harley Quinn, which she's been in Birds of Prey, The Suicide Squad. She was also in The Wolf of Wall Street. Joel Kinnaman, who is the modern day RoboCop, obviously the first Suicide Squad. He was in one of my favorite first seasons because I haven't watched season 2 yet, but Altered Carbons is such a good show. And that man is so ripped and buff in that guy. He is so cut in Altered Carbon. It is insane. The definition of shadows that you can get on that man's body. Holy shit.
Excellent.
Yes, very, very good. He's not just eye candy, okay? Viola Davis, who's best known really, I think it's what is it? How to Get Away with Murder, the TV series. Obviously, and again, the first Suicide Squad. Steve Agee, who's more of a comedian than he is an actor, but he's really, really gotten into the acting in the last like 5 years. I want to say he's really popped up everywhere.
And he's part of James Gunn's crew, right?
Yeah,
He was in all the Guardians of Galaxies. He's kind of been around with him for a while.
Yeah. Sylvester Stallone, which I mean, if you don't know who Sylvester Stallone is, get the fuck out of here. I don't know what is wrong with you. It's fucking Sly. All right, he's Rocky. God damn it, or the dude from The Expendables, or fucking so many other. He was the original Judge Dredd, for Christ's sake.
And that dude from that porno that he did once.
Oh right, which was called The Italian Stallion.
That's right.
Oh yeah, and funny enough, he was in the original Death Race 3000, I think is either Death Race 2000 or Death Race 3000. Either way, the original Death Race, which was nothing like the movie that Jason Statham did. On a side note, Pete Davidson, who's the King of Long Island. He was on SNL. Just kind of an overall comedic actor or sketch guy. Daniela Melchior.
Is there a French way to say that?
No, because I'm pretty sure she's of Hispanic descent, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
So
I got French.
and the thing is like I don't know a lot about her because she's relatively new to the scene, so I don't really have much to say about her, unfortunately. But we are going to talk about her performance in this film, so don't worry. It's gonna happen. I'm trying to see here. Parkmere, Nessa Fresca, and A. Herdera. So Hispanic films.
Okay.
That's all I can say. That is all that I can say about her because she's relatively new to the American scene. That is for sure. Like I said, there's so many names. Nathan Fillion is in here. Obviously Nathan Fillion, Slither, the Castle series, Serenity, Firefly. He was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the final season. Just an overall fucking great Canadian actor. Jai Courtney in the original Suicide Squad. Jai Courtney was also God.
Was he in Terminator? No, that was
no.
the other one.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was gonna say the other guy, but that's I can't remember the other guy.
He was on the Die Hard one, that real live 3 Die Hard,
God,
but the other one.
Yeah. A Good Day to Die Hard. He was in Terminator Genesis. Divergent, apparently. I've never watched that movie, so I'm good. I think it's like another one of those YA novels. Fucking Peter Capaldi, which, I mean, it's Peter Capaldi. He was one of the doctors. He's been in a bunch of stuff. Flula Borg, who is mostly known for a while as a YouTube content creator, who now shows up in random things. It's the best way that I can describe it. Like
I thought he was a stand-up comedian.
He's that too, but one of his big things is he got big on YouTube because of his the way that he the way that he talks and stuff. he was in like Trolls World Tour, Pitch Perfect 2, a bunch of weird, niche little character roles. Let's see. Sean Gunn's in here. He plays Weasel, and that I guess like Nazi bald hating dude.
That was Calendar Man.
Oh, is that Calendar Man? I wasn't paying
Yeah.
attention. I just looked. I'm like, oh, look, it's Sean Gunn not playing, an animal of some sort. That's funny. Oh my god, that's Calendar Man. John Cena, playing obviously Peacemaker. I this is weird, kid. This is weird. So John Cena's roles, except for like the last little bit, have been pretty trash. Okay, so he was in Blockers, which is a good film. I like Blockers. He was in Trainwreck, which is another good film. But really, his other films are like 28 blocks or 28 rounds, whatever the fuck it is, like these, and The Marine, and like
The Marine was the best. The Marine was a fucking awesome movie.
Tom, please don't lie to us.
It was our first foray into the acting world of John Cena.
Oh my!
He is in.
He's
perfect.
I'm impressed that he survived. Okay, I am impressed. It's weird because like he's not really like a big name guy that you think like he's a big star. Oh, and in Fast 9 now. I should probably preface that as well. He's in Fast 9. But yeah, he's not like he doesn't have good movies. You know what I mean? Like, he's not that guy, but people love him. Anyways, also stars David Dallas Malchin. I'm gonna always butcher that name.
Malchin.
This dude, I want to see more of. More. He was Joker's thug in fucking The Dark Knight. He was in Prisoners. He's in the Ant-Man series, Ant-Man 1 and 2. He plays like that Russian bumbling like stooge kind of character with a rapper that I can't remember his name right now.
Yeah.
Right? Do you know who I'm talking about?
T.I.
Yeah, thank you. And then finally, the venerable, multi-talented, once a really big racist on The Walking Dead, Michael Rooker, who again, Walking Dead, Guardians of the Galaxy, Slither, Mallrats. The dude has been around forever, and he plays one of my favorite characters in this film, Savant. And this is where, again, how can I say this? We are not going to ruin the film. Don't worry, it's going to be spoiler free. It had a production budget of $175 million. Also, it took me like 15 minutes. 15 fucking minutes just to do the goddamn cast right there. A budget of $175 million with a current box office from as most recent as I can find. And this is where it gets a little bit iffy because Tom and I talked about this before we went live. But a box office of $12.2 million. Doesn't sound like a lot, but Tom and I both had the discussion of like, yes, but the thing is the world's still not 100% right now. Most of the box office happens from the States, is like the initial release. And a lot of places are still open, or they're very limited viewing arrangements. Also, this was on a streaming platform, HBO Max, that you just have to pay for a subscription. So it's like $90 or whatever it is for the year, $100 for the year, and then you can just watch the Suicide Squad for free, and a bunch of other content out there. So it's not really a proper way to reflect the film itself. But with that being said, Tom, what did you think of the movie?
I absolutely fucking loved this movie.
Really?
It was great. Yes. From reading Suicide Squad comics, like I read a lot of the New 52 Suicide Squad, and it definitely had the feel of a Suicide Squad movie. Like it was meant for, like it was done excellently. James Gunn nailed it, in my opinion.
Okay.
Now, what do you have to say about this movie?
Okay. So this entire time, while when I watched it yesterday, and then I talked to Tom before we went live, I haven't told him my honest opinion because I didn't want him to get upset about what's about to happen.
For it.
Yeah, no, this film is I loved it. It was a great fucking movie. Like, there's no
Finally.
no, this movie was just, it was fun. What it felt like. It was, as much as Guardians of the Galaxy was like, James Gunn having fun. This was just James Gunn. This was him, like, because he talked about how, like, when the Suicide Squad got first made, which is, I guess, is like way, way, way back. He's like, the way that it was made is it was literally using second-rate, second-class villains, who then some of them got more popular, which is cool and everything, but he wanted to go back to those roots. And fuck, man, does he do that in this film? And fuck, man, does he surprise you with a lot of things, of some people, and then some people. I'm not gonna say it.
It's hard to do this not spoiler free.
Yeah, it is very interesting. But I will say, this is what should have happened in the first Suicide Squad movie, right? Where in the first Suicide Squad movie, the David Ayers one, and this is no jab. I talked about this on the SSN podcast, where David Ayer did this huge lengthy tweet. Like, he had like pictures of his text that he wrote down about how, like, this is the movie that came out is not the movie that he wanted. Not even the extended cut is the one that he wanted. This is his version was not supposed to be flashy and like poppy songs and stuff. It was like gritty and real, and because he's from the streets, and that's how he would have done it, and da 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 da. And I read that, I'm like, okay, that's cool, that's interesting. That's not the Suicide Squad still. Even the version that you're talking about is still not the Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad is supposed to be somewhat, it's like a dark comedy in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Where people will just die out of the fucking blue. Like,
it's meant to be a joke.
Yeah.
Like, that's all of these characters are jokes, and we're putting them all together to make a bigger joke.
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Like, one of the moments that a good representation of that way back, right, I think it must have come out before the first movie, but it was the animated film, the fucking DC animated Suicide Squad Attack on Arkham Asylum. Again, we talked about this on the podcast yesterday, but I'll mention it here, where, like, almost right away, Killer Croc dies in that movie. His head blows up, right? Because he does something.
Spoilers.
Fuck off.
I haven't seen it.
Fuck off. The movie's like 10 years old right now. But yeah, like, he dies, and it sets up, oh wow, like, anyone can fucking die in this movie. It is this oh my god, hold on, there it is. There's always these goddamn bots. I gotta ban a dude. And banned. There. It's just always it's fun fact. The bots now have learned to not just put a link in that gets them stopped right away. It's now they like write everything out. Like, want to become famous? Just visit www. But it's like all spaced out, so that's not an actual like hyperlink.
Are you saying they're becoming self-aware?
Yes.
Is there stuff we should be worrying right now?
I mean,
is Skynet coming active?
Jai Courtney was in Terminator. Okay, so
we're
connecting.
Oh.
We're connecting the universe. But I know it's this fucking this from David Ayer's version of what it sounds like was supposed to be a lot more serious and a lot less fun. That James Gunn's version, which was, it's still very, like, the action was good. They made Starro work very, very well in this film. I found they kind of, in a sense, victimize Starro with how they portray that. And again, this is not a spoiler, because you fucking see Starro in the goddamn trailer. He's a giant fucking starfish that you see break out of a building. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't a spoiler. And how they explain how he even got to Earth was actually really, really interesting. I really, really enjoyed that. I think the editing style was beautiful. There's a moment in here that kind of encapsulates exactly how Harley Quinn is, right? 1 second she's fine, you could talk to her, there's nothing wrong with her, and then the next second you remember, oh wait, she's a nutcase, she's mentally broken inside and will do something out of fucking nowhere, and it's like, she's disturbing. And it's a scene where this is, I'm not going to mention any names and stuff, but she has a very serious conversation. She with a person, they confess something to them, like to Harley. Harley's very real, very like, oh my god, this is like in a moment of purity. This is a moment where like I can let my defenses down and I can be a normal human being. They say something that Harley doesn't like, oof, just kills them. Just cold blood kills them. And it's like, and then her explanation kicks in, and you're like, oh my god, I forgot. You're a fucking serial killer, Harley. Like Margot does such a good job with that. It's unfucking believable. It's I think the editing style is amazing. I think the colors that they use is great. I like one of the bigger cameos in this film. I think was so, to me. I think it was a very nice cameo because it was so well hidden. But James Gunn kind of set it up with this person in social tweets like a year ago or so. Um. Yeah. I can tell you that after the stream who I'm talking about. Um. This movie has a lot of heart. They made me actually like, and this is not a jab towards Joel Kinnaman, because I actually think Joel Kinnaman is a really, really good actor. I think he actually is a good actor. But his character in the first Suicide Squad, Rick Flag, wasn't really fun. He was just very plain white bread character. Like, I am
Yeah.
Soldier Man, hear me roar. That's what he was like.
Just, I follow orders, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That's all.
But in this one, dude's cracking jokes. He's having a good time. He's smiling. He's like like he's buddy. He's still serious when he needs to be, and he has one of the most heartfelt moments in this film for me. And like they made me feel for Rick Flag, and that's not something that I thought any Suicide Squad movie could do. Tom,
So
for you, yeah, like what was like a moment that really stood out to you that you can and cannot talk about?
a lot of them I can't talk about. It's more just the acting roles by everybody involved. Like John Cena, like you said, he's been known for some. All right, he's a good comedy guy, but the guy
Yeah.
can still pull out
Yeah.
all stops when he has to. He really nails the job, and I can't wait for the Peacemaker series that has already been announced prior to Suicide Squad.
So, did you watch the post credits scene?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they explain, which is nice, how this can happen. Why there is a Peacemaker show. It actually makes sense. A lot of people had the suspicions of it was going to go one way, but no, it's going. They're taking a different path with it. When I saw that, and they also, I thought they saved a certain character when I saw that post credit, and then they swerved it at the end for me. And again, I'll tell you after who I thought it was going to be. But yeah, like I think one of my favorite moments in this film has to be the relationship between Ratcatcher and King Shark.
Yeah.
I love it, and there's this returning gag in this movie that for some reason Ratcatcher is just, because she's a millennial, she's a Zoomer, she just fucking falls asleep and is like literally dead asleep. And it's a moment where it's they're all on base camp in the middle of the night, they're all going to bed, and fucking King Shark just grabs Ratcatcher and is about to eat her, and like Idris Elba's like, no, we don't do that. Like, stop. And then it's just like, this is not a spoiler. This is just a fun comedy bit. And then Ratcatcher's like, Nanoe, you wouldn't eat your friends, would you? And like Peacemaker's like, what the fuck you think? This guy doesn't have any friends. And like fucking Nanoe goes, no eat friend? It's like, yeah. Oh, like he realizes he shouldn't eat his friends. But he's like, I have Nanoe have no friends. And then she's like, well, if you don't eat me, I'll be your friend. And this little shark eyes go like, I have friend. I fucking love it. And then again, that's a returning gag that happens near it's in the third act of the film with certain creatures, and
Yeah.
I'm like, this is so fucking good, dude. This is so, oh my god. Like I was thrilled. Like from beginning to end, there wasn't a moment where I didn't either have a smile on my face or I was like intently watching with this film.
Yeah, very much so.
Honestly, it's you have to watch this. You should watch this in the theater with a max capacity of 25%. All right, and right now in current conditions, it bothers me that this movie had to come out at this time.
Yeah.
It really does, because it's not gonna get the attention that it fucking deserves. This, to kind of put in perspective, I really like Guardians of the Galaxy 1. I think Guardians of the Galaxy 2 for me was a better film. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies. This beats that wholeheartedly. The character developments, the jokes, the action. I am a huge fan of James Gunn and his style of directing and writing, and this is him 100% unleashed. That's
Yeah. I hope WB learns their fucking lesson here.
Yeah.
Give your directors some creative freedom.
Yeah.
Give them a little bit of notes here and there. Make sure they're not jumping off the rails too much, but
Yeah.
let people do their thing. How many times have you gone through movies, Batman v Superman, or Suicide Squad, tons of movies now that you've just had company interference.
Yeah.
And they don't turn out. And you've got this movie that's got heart and soul. And if someone went and did 10 weeks of reshoots for this movie, it would not have been the same movie.
Yeah.
It would not have been good at all. So you got to start doing that. And I hope they've learned their lesson here.
It is this idea, and James Gunn talked about it in an interview with the Hollywood Reporter. Again, something that was mentioned in the podcast yesterday, but I'll talk about it here because it's relative to what we are talking about. Where the old guard is the one that really messed up a lot of the DC EU films. And it's one of the ones that, for David Ayer, ruined his film and ruined his experience with the Suicide Squad. And when James Gunn stepped in with it was basically a brand new head of WB, like these two individuals, and they told him, like, just go nuts, because they realized, I think these new guys have realized, we can't compete with Marvel. Marvel is doing their own thing. They're doing, for the most part, they're kid friendly. Everyone loves the superhero, like the Super Friends, but you know what I mean, not really the Super Friends because that's still DC. But like the Marvel heroes of just like, gee golly, gee man, we're gonna stop you, but I'm gonna cuss every once in a while. Like that's what it is. Versus DC with the Joker, with Batman, or the Batman. I think it's called the Batman, right? The Robert Pattinson one.
Yeah.
With even with Aquaman, which is like it's fucking Fast and the Furious, but in the water. Like this is, I think they're finally realizing, oh, we shouldn't compete with them. We should just do what A, the comics are, or B, go so crazy with it like in Aquaman. We just go nuts and we just have fun with it. And Suicide Squad is that perfect mix of both, because, like we said, it is a comic series it was originally so dumb and goofy of a concept, and they just took it and ran with it, and now they did the same with the movie. It's yes, I'm so happy for it.
This is what comic book fans have been hoping for a while.
Yeah.
I hope they continue this trend.
Yeah, and it's interesting because some of the trivia that I found, I'm gonna mention some of this right now, was apparently Dave Bautista was supposed to play Peacemaker.
That would have not worked.
Yeah, and then he turned it down to be in Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, which, in all honesty, I think that was kind of a good call. I don't know, because what would he have done? Would he have just done Drax again? You know what I mean? But a patriotic Drax, like that's I don't think that would.
I think he would have had the same character as he played in Army of the Dead.
Yeah, probably in a sense, yeah.
A little more comedy sprinkled in, but I don't think it would have. I think John Cena did a better job here.
Yeah,
I don't think he would have been better.
But another kind of a cool thing, I guess one of James Gunn's favorite scenes in the movie, and I agree with it, and we see it in the trailer, is when King Shark rips a dude in half. And like that lightning and stuff, and it's just like that perfect, like that's a comic book cover pose, you know what I mean? It's just like him ripping that dude in half. And he said that was one of his favorite scenes, and one of the biggest parts of it is because a lot of the film, and it's actually very true, except for like again the big boss fight at the end. It was a lot of it was visual effects. It wasn't CG like in Guardians of the Galaxy, where like everyone's in a green screen room. This film isn't a lot of that. It's them like actually being on a beach. It's them actually being on in like a town and actually like interacting with physical items and stuff. Like that dummy being ripped in half, or that dude. So King Shark was obviously CG, but that thing being ripped in half was a prop. That was an actual physical prop that someone got to hold and go bam, and then they just added the bits.
I want to see the behind the scenes footage of Steve Agee
Agee.
tearing a fucking dummy in half.
Because
He's a big guy.
Yeah.
He'd probably be terrifying just doing that.
And for people who don't know, yeah, Steve Agee played the actual physical embodiment of King Shark. He wore like the dots and stuff for the performance capture. So that was him grabbing a dummy and ripping it in half. So yeah, he's like Steve Agee's like 6'6", I think, or 6'5". Like he's a tall fucking dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, seeing a big guy like that doing that to a human would still be pretty intimidating. It's very, very apparent that there's a lot more care and attention to this. I fucking, oh my god. I think another thing that needs to be pointed out is the girl who plays Ratcatcher, Danielle. The last name I can't remember right now, Melchior, or I believe. I'm sorry if I butchered her name. She is. I liked her. I liked her character. I liked her portrayal in this. She does a really, really good job of looking like that lazy millennial that James Gunn was poking fun at, which I thought was funny. But then when
we watched that part my first viewing, I was with my girlfriend. I said, "Hey, it's you. It's perfect." They got you millennials down to a T.
Oh my god. But yeah, it was it made me laugh. But then obviously when it came time to fight, she, like, you could feel that heart, and when she was afraid, and when she cared for King Shark, she fucking loved it. Like, you know what I mean? The relationship between Bloodsport and Peacemaker also made me laugh, because there's a scene in the movie. This is not a spoiler, but they go over like the bios of certain characters, right? And the bio for Bloodsport is like, from the day that he was born, his father trained him to be a soldier. He's efficient in all weapons, and he's a deadly assassin. That like a soldier who's out only for money and blood and whatever. This whole serious description. Like, he has very unique abilities. And then they walk over to John Cena, who's just standing there getting ready for the report. And they're like, "This is Peacemaker, aka John," or whatever, fucking Billy, whatever his fucking name is. Yeah, but since day one he was born, he was raised as a soldier, efficient in all weapons, and like, he just goes on this spiel. And then Idris Elba, I love his acting. He's like, "The fuck is this?" Just like Viola Davis, like, "What?" I'm like, "You said that everyone has a unique ability. You just described me. What the fuck are you talking about?" And then John Cena's like, "Yeah, that was you, but I'm better," and walks away. And Idris Elba's like, "Oh fuck, you did not just say that." And so,
and they do that over the fucking movie as well. Well. It's good competition.
Yeah, it is. It is this nice little added event of, like, it's these two trying to one up each other the entire time. It was Jeremy Johns in his review for it, which, if you guys get a chance, you should definitely check out Jeremy Johns' YouTube channel. He does a bunch of reviews for films. Very energetic, very fun dude to watch. But he compared those two as a very violent and gory and cussive Gimli and Legolas from Lord of the Rings.
I was just gonna say that.
Because there is one scene that very much feels like that. That and that fucking scene. Oh my god. The one dude is brushing his teeth and he's just got his dick out. Fucking Christ, man. This is a movie made for me. You know what I mean? Like,
fuck yeah.
It was so good. I cannot speak highly enough without going into the details of the story about how good. You know what? We can't talk about the story in this sense. The story is very straightforward, very to the point, and is not necessarily the Suicide Squad has to save the universe or save the world event like it was in the first one. At least that's not what it's presumed to be. Versus, like, and the mission is basically, we're going to this place and we have to, A, like, remove these people from power, and then B, destroy whatever, like this tower, whatever this tower is to for the mission, and that's all they're given, and then they find out more throughout the film. Versus, the first one, which is like, oh, we're fighting against the Enchantress, a goddess like a magician who has the power to raise her brother, some kind of fucking demon dude who can destroy the world with his fucking putty patrol, and I think he might be related to Rita Repulsa. Maybe he's Lord Zed, I don't know, but we don't have Megazords, so let's go. Like, it's the idea of like, oh, we should have Superman deal with this, but we're gonna send convicts. Versus, oh, it's just a fucking run and gun mission. We're gonna send out some fucking villains, some rogues out here to deal with it. And if they die, they die. Who fucking cares? Which there's a moment that they mention in the trailer, which I was wondering if they were gonna do a scene for it to explain it, or if they were to put more emphasis on it. But like, Bloodsport is the man who put Superman in the ICU because he used a kryptonite bullet to shoot him. And I was wondering if they're either going to show anything, a show of that, explain it, like actually visually show the shot of it happening, or if they were going to make more reference to it near the end of the film when Starro's revealed. Would it be like, man, it would be nice if we'd have the Man of Steel right now, or like just kind of like, I wish the Justice League were here. But they really keep this like very tight and into just this universe of the Suicide Squad, which,
Well, because they don't know what universe they're gonna deal with after all the firings.
but that's yeah. But like, it's actually kind of nice. Like, I like the idea that it's not really connected to anything. It's not. There is no, like, you can mention Batman if you want, and you can mention Superman and whatever, or the Flash. But you don't have to show them. It's just like, it's. This is gonna be a weird pull for me to explain. But recently, or at least like within the last year, the CW's Arrowverse had their own like giant infinite Crisis on Infinite Earths, where they had their own version of that, which was like a Lex Luthor was hopping around from world to world, killing off the Superman in different universes because there are certain people, there are certain Supermen that could stop this version of Lex Luthor from succeeding in his plans. And they hop from universe to universe to universe within like the Arrowverse. So like, you have like, they went to the Lucifer world, which was like Earth 666. They bring back the guy who plays Constantine, which is really cool. They brought back, and this is the reason why I'm watching Smallville all over again. They brought back Tom Welling and fucking Erica Durant for their cameo in the scene where you see a Clark, you see it's Smallville. It's fucking Smallville. It's all I could say. And it's the same ranch that they shot the original one. And I know this because I've been watching it again, so I know it's the same farmhouse and everything, because this was all shot in Vancouver, so they could just go back to that place and shoot it. And it was awesome. And I'm like, oh yeah, they could just do this, where this Suicide Squad isn't necessarily attached to anything. The next Batman doesn't have to be attached to anything. Like, the Joker movie that they did doesn't have to be connected with anyone, and it's fine. And we don't need a giant fucking, like, an actual DCEU. It could just be the DCC, the DC cinematic movies, DCCM. I don't know if I can know.
I don't know. As a comic fan, and like you're the one that got me into comics mainly, and I like the first one I really watched or read was Sinestro Corps War.
Yeah.
See, and those ones I love because you got all of the different characters together in fighting on these big intergalactic scales. I kind of wish they would have had, like, Marvel obviously figured that out. They've kind of nailed that. DC needs to kind of take a step back, but I don't know. I kind of wish they would have a little bit of that at some point. Would you not like to see like Batfleck meeting up with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker?
So I don't know
That
if
would be fucking cool.
I don't know if that's the Joker that I'd want to see. I would probably see, what I would want to see, we'll say theoretically, would be like Robert Pattinson potentially, that Batman meet that Joker. A young Batman, meaning a grizzled Joker who's been around for so long that he doesn't give a shit. Nothing surprises him anymore.
True.
Right?
True.
But yeah, that's gonna be a discussion for another time though, because we could definitely talk about that. That's like a PUI fucking talk.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
yeah, get drunk or high, whatever, and just talk about that all day. Which we've done with Batman v Superman years ago. But anyways, more importantly, I think it's to discuss: is there any other moment in this film that for you that you can mention that really stood out?
Not that I can mention.
Not that you can mention, yeah. That's kind of the issue. Okay, so then we're gonna wrap it up here, with a couple things. Tom, which as always, would you recommend this film? And on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give it?
I would definitely recommend this movie and buy it eventually. I'm gonna buy it
Yeah,
when I can. And I would say I gotta give it a 9 out of 10.
a 9 out of
I'm gonna put
10.
I'm gonna put it up that high. Yeah,
Okay.
it was an excellent movie.
Now, are you just saying that because there hasn't been a good DC EU movie in a while, or you're just thinking overall this is actually a good film?
I legitimately love this movie. When watching it the second time today, it didn't diminish at all for me. I loved every second of it on the second one run through. So I would,
I,
yeah, 9 out of 10 for me.
for what I've seen, I would definitely say, if you have HBO Max, you should definitely watch it. If you could safely go to the theaters, you should definitely go see this movie in the theaters. With the sound and stuff, it's fucking amazing. Like that system is exactly what you want for a film like this. Having a crowd react to some of the jokes as well. I laughed out loud. This is one of the movies where I was able to laugh out loud, and I was fine with it. Um, I would definitely say buy it. I would give this movie. I think I'd give this movie because I really like Guardians of the Galaxy 2. That was one of my favorite movies in a while. I'd give it. I'd give this an 8 out of 10. Definitely 8 out of 10. I know it's not as high as Tom's, but I just know that there's other things out there that I like. As an example, for me, Back to the Future, that's a 10 out of 10. You know what I mean? I can't,
Yeah.
I can't. Nothing touches that for me.
So you're saying I'm putting it too close to Back to the Future?
Well, that's my thing. In all honesty, because like I got like another good one would be like the Matrix, the first Matrix. That's a 10 out of 10.
Okay.
There's certain like the John Wick ones. The John Wick one, that's a fucking 9.5 out of 10. Like that's like there's certain movies that are just so fucking good. But I'm looking at this one, and this one's so goddamn fun, and it's so good that that might change. I might change this into like a fucking 10 out of 10 in a little bit, right? Or I'll put it at the same level as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, because I think Volume 2 was the better film between the two Guardians, and I honestly think that one's more of a complete story, and it's funny, it's got action, it's got a whole 9 yards. So I don't know, it might change, but for now, that has been our spoiler-free talk of the Suicide Squad. We might be able to come back another maybe like next week and talk about it more with details, very briefly about some of the things that we actually want to mention, but we can't. But for now, I've been me. Thanks for joining us. We love y'all, and we will catch you all on the next exciting episode of SNATM, which unfortunately is going to be Resident Evil Retribution, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't get away from it. This is
Let's
our
just do it.
yeah,
Let's just do it.
we got this. All right, guys, we'll see you later.